Hello, Toastmasters, District 31 and guests joining us today for the video. Welcome to the District 31 Club Close-Up. This is a video interview series where I interview clubs from District 31. We learn about their club, the great things that they're doing to engage existing members and to recruit new ones. I'm your host, Christian Austin, the 2023-2024 District 31 Public Relations Manager, and today we have a treat for you. We are meeting with the Norwood Toastmasters Club. This club has achieved select distinguished status in the past Toastmasters year. For those who don't know what that means, Norwood Toastmasters has achieved 7 out of a possible 10 goals in the Distinguished Club program. This is quite an achievement for a club. Let's give them a round of applause for achieving that goal last Toastmasters year. Congratulations, Norwood Toastmasters, on a job well done. To give some history on Norwood Toastmasters Club, they were founded in 1999. That's right before the turn of the century. They're currently a hybrid club. They meet in 2 different locations, depending on the time of year. Westwood Public Library is where they're currently meeting, Westwood Public Library. And after Labor Day, they'll probably be meeting in Norwood Civic Center again. However, at the end of the video and in the show notes, there'll be a club contact website that you should go check out to find the most updated virtual link and physical location that the club's meeting at. And don't worry, at the end of the video, the club officers are going to be telling you more about their meetings so that you can join one in the near future. Today, we are going to be running a panel discussion with the Norwood Toastmasters Club. It will be focused on various aspects of the club. Club officers will be the panelists. I'll serve as your interviewer. And then Tom, the club president, will serve as the panel moderator today, asking club officers questions. Now get ready. Take out those notepads and get ready to record some great information about what Toastmasters are doing in the Norwood Club so you could bring it back to your club too. But before we get started, let's learn a little more about the officers of the Norwood Toastmasters Club. I'd like to introduce Tom, the president of the club, first to introduce himself.
Yes, thank you, Christian. My name is Tom Gio, as you can see in the my Zoom screen here. I was one of the provisional officers in 1999 that got this club going, and I became a member in later on in 2000. So I've been with the club almost 25 years, except for a brief period where I took a leave of absence from 2012 to 2018 and considered moving and retiring in Maine. But I changed my mind and in 2018 came back to Norwood, and lo and behold, it was still going. I was amazed. I planted good seeds in this club and they continue even to this day. And we are really looking forward to celebrating our 25th anniversary in May of 2024. And our next officer would be Trevor. Trevor, please introduce yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Trevor Crippen. I've been in Toastmasters for 10 years now, since 2013. They were serving pizza in a boardroom. I went in there for the free food and got sucked in by the terrifying prospect of getting up and speaking. But I kept coming back and did it, and still here. I've been a member of Norwood since 2017, I believe. For about half my tenure as a Toastmasters member. And I've also served various District 31 leadership roles, including District Director a couple years ago. And I'm the Vice President of Education this year at Norwood Toastmasters. Paulina, you want to go next?
Thank you, Trevor. My name is Paulina Duarte. I am the current Vice President of Public Relations and Acting Sergeant at Arms at Norwood Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster since 2016, but I've been part of Norwood Toastmasters since the spring of 2017. I first became an officer in 2019 as the secretary, and then I moved around to being president, vice president of membership, And now I've been Sergeant at Arms for a while, and I've taken on the Vice President Public Relations role to help inform the club of what's going on and to set up the meeting space virtually and in person.
Christos,
Hi, I'm Christos. I've been with Toastmasters since 2013 at a couple of different clubs in Boston. I served a couple of different officer roles. But I've been in between clubs and taken some time off in between, largely due to COVID. I went on a bit of a hiatus, realized I missed Toastmasters and missed the value that the club offered. And so I decided to rejoin here at Norwood since March of this past year.
very well. Shall we go? Continue.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you, everyone, all your officers, for introducing yourself, both veteran Norwood Toastmaster Club members and newer Norwood Toastmaster Club members who are getting involved in leadership early in club membership. It's great to have you here today. Let's get started with some questions to find out more about your club. The first question will be just a general question about the club. I'd like to know how you describe the club. If there was a motto for your club, what would that motto be? Again, how would you describe your club? And if there was a motto, what would that motto be?
I'll take the first question, Christian. And since I'm the legacy member of the club, I saw on one of our agendas once, it said, "Be our guest and join the fun." And I think that really describes our club, because we do have a lot of fun in our meetings, and we try to make them fun, especially when we have guests. We have them when we're just by ourselves too, but we go out of our way to have fun when we have guests. And I would say that that would be our motto: be our guest and join the fun. And now for the second question, I'd like to have Paulina answer it, because Paulina is, as Sergeant at Arms, she is also our, how we say this, technical director. She sets up all the Zoom meetings and does an excellent job at it. And I think that plays an important part in how our club has added value. And I think she can touch on that a bit. Paulina, please.
Great. So Tom, as Tom said, adding value to the club. Paulina, the next question is, describe an aspect of your club that other clubs may not have that adds value to your membership. Paulina.
Thank you very much. One aspect would definitely be the hybrid meeting structure. I used to be an area director for 2 years, and I've seen clubs drop their hybrid meeting structure in favor of going back to completely in-person meetings in recent months, because they felt that they didn't have the resources or participation in virtual spaces to make the efforts worthwhile. But we still provide a virtual meeting space, which is a benefit to those who might not live close to Norwood, or given their work and life schedules, it might be easier for them to just log on to a Zoom call instead of driving through wherever they need to go to get to Norwood and potentially coming into the meeting late because they hit traffic or some other snag happened, and we're able to meet them where they are. And when it comes to welcoming members, I did this as Sergeant at Arms last year, and I'm still continuing it, making welcome packets that are filled with membership applications and some of the brochures about Toastmasters leadership and speaking skills it can offer in order to entice prospective members to join our club so they can develop those skills. And finally, we try to create a friendly atmosphere through our meetings and ask for feedback at the end to make sure that any guests who come to our club feel they have a voice, and if they're comfortable, they can participate in table topics so they can get a taste for what Toastmasters is like before they commit fully to it.
Great, thank you, Paulina. That only took a minute and a half. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that?
I'd like to add something. So one thing I see that's unique about this club that I haven't seen in my prior clubs is we have an award ceremony at the very end. So I think that's unique. It's fun. It's kind of cool getting a ribbon at the end of the each meeting for best speaker, best table topics master, best evaluator. So we have a little fun and celebrate at the end.
Anyone else? Oh, I think we nailed that one pretty good.
Yeah.
For the next question, I would like to have Trevor answer about tracking the club's success. Christian, you want to take the question?
For our audience, the question for Trevor is, how do you track club success? If through the Distinguished Club Program and or Club Success Plan, please describe the process. If that's not how you track your success, what is your system?
I'd say the club definitely takes pride in accomplishing the Distinguished Club Program goals. And Tom or Paulina can probably give the exact number of years in which we've won the Distinguished Club Award. Yes, I will let Paulina answer that number as well. But in addition to the DCP, which we are quite the frequent award earner of, we also see success in just getting everyone involved, or at least that's how I see success in reaching out to people on a regular basis to say, hey, come to our meeting, we miss you. Would you like to do a speech? And encouraging people to progress however slowly, even if they never end up getting an award, like do that speech number one, and then maybe do a second speech and get some value out of it. And I think icebreakers are one of our favorite speeches, and just getting a good number of the people that come in the door to do an icebreaker and introduce themselves to the club is a mark of success. And we're always, it's funny, we like Christos said, we give out these little awards for best speaker at the end of the meeting. And if somebody gives an icebreaker, the person that gives the icebreaker almost always wins that ribbon, because we are so excited to see it. And it is such a sign of success to bring someone in and deliver an icebreaker. But let's let Paulina tell us how many times we've earned distinguished as a club, though.
Well, looking at our awards tally, we have 16 Distinguished Club Awards, and we also have earned 2 of the membership building programs. In 2006, we earned the Smedley Award for adding 5 new dual or reinstated members in August and September of that year. And more recently, in the spring of 2022, we earned the Talk of Toastmasters Award for getting 5 new members in February and March of that year. We have yet to earn the Beat the Clock Award, but we'll keep hope alive.
Paulina, for those who don't know, all of those awards, dizzying with all the awards that the club has won, in the show notes, we'll post a link so you can go look up and see what all of those awards are that Norwood Toastmasters did a diligent job in achieving.
I have one thing to add to that. The website, Toastmasters website, only goes back to 2004. We won Distinguished Club Awards in 2000, 2001, and 2003.
So
It's
that makes
19
19.
of the past 25 years.
And we are going to put in the show notes because of that, Tom. I'll talk to you and Paulina, and we're going to list in the show notes when you achieve those awards.
Yes, Paulina.
And also, we did achieve one of the 2019-2020 recognition awards, the Online Ovation Education Award Gold, or some other award, but it's not listed on Toastmasters International, but we have receipts.
Yeah, we do. And I already contacted International and asked them to correct that. We're very sensitive about those types of things, aren't we?
They have proof, and we are going to show you that proof.
Yeah, we do.
Back to you, Tom.
And for our next question, I think having a newer member answer this question is very appropriate. Christos, would you take the next question from Kristen, please?
Christos, the next question is about leadership. Since you're a new leader, how are you recruited as a club leader? Question that many clubs ask: how do we get new leaders into the executive committee of our club?
So I'll give you 2 answers. So one, of course, I think a lot of this will depend on the club size, but really just anyone who shows enthusiasm, anyone who shows that they really want to develop personally and contribute to the club, anyone who volunteers for roles and is pretty active within the club. I think they would be a good candidate to reach out to and ask to fill any club roles. Now, the truth is, I was asked because there was a need and there was a vacancy. So I took it, but for similar reasons, because I wanted to contribute to the club. It's a great club, but it takes work, right, to keep it going. So I just wanted to make sure the club still operates, still continues to function and serve its members.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you, Christos. Now, I'd like you, Christo, also to give your impression on the next question. Christian, could you ask him how he feels about question number 12 there?
Sure. Let's talk about education. Christos, your process for getting new members engaged in meeting roles and giving speeches. How do you get that new person who comes to the club, maybe a little intimidated, sits in the back of the room, to give that speech and to start taking those roles and getting engaged in meetings?
Sure, engage with them. So, if they sit there quietly and you leave them alone, chances are, or her alone, chances are they probably will not go up there and speak. So just ask. I think that's it. Just ask. Go around the table and actually speak with every member. Anyone else, want to go in and participate, whatever it is. Maybe it's a table topics, a quick speech. But one thing this club does well is at the very end of every meeting, they do ask for feedback for members as well as guests. So every single meeting that we've had guests at just about every single meeting, I think, and every one of them spoke. So we just asked, what do you just ask for their thoughts, ask for feedback on what they thought about the club. So I think that's the simple answer. Just engage with them and ask.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. You all
Thanks.
set?
Sure. I was just going to comment, letting members know that they matter and their opinions matter. General evaluator gives the evaluation of the meeting, reaching out to members as well, asking them what their opinion is too, and incorporating their feedback.
Well, we still
Making-
have two or 3 minutes. Anybody else want to add something?
Sure. I've taken over this year as vice president of education. And one of the things our club has done historically pretty well, it's a challenge to keep it operational. I think in any club is a mentoring program. And our club, has always at least strived to get these strong mentor assignments to the new members. And it is a particularly challenging time right now because we have a lot of new members and then only a few of us that have been in the club for a while. But even in this circumstance, we're trying to provide some mentoring to everyone that's coming in. Ideally, that formal mentoring relationship with somebody else in the club. But in addition to that, I'm reaching out to everyone as vice president of education and saying, hey, if you haven't picked your path, what are you looking at? Here's how it works and what kind of path you might be interested in doing, and walking through that with them. And then asking if I could put them on the schedule for an icebreaker and getting a sense of how long they want to wait to do that, and being aware of that. And then when we come to the meetings, it's not just the mentor and it's not just the vice president of education. I think everyone there does a good job of, talking to these new people and having these little side conversations with them to encourage them to, take that next step and take on a role they haven't done before. Maybe say, hey, you haven't done the Toastmaster before. You want to give it a try next time around? And provide that, kind of a little putting them on the spot, but also with encouragement and excitement thrown in at that to make them feel like they're really wanted to do that particular role and take that next step.
Thank you, Trevor. And Trevor, the next question, I couldn't really come up with an answer, so I'll pick you to answer it.
Well, this is about membership retention. Membership turnover, it's a natural part of club dynamics. What effort does the club make to retain members? Please state any specific examples you have that could be helpful for others to retain those members?
I think there's no way to just at the last minute say, oh, we're going to lose this member. How do we magically retain them? It's all part of everything else that you do before then. It's about creating fun meetings, like we talked about, meetings that people are excited to go to. It's about building the excitement in an email that might go out, encouraging people to attend, saying, hey, we got some great speakers at this meeting, come by and show them your support. Make it seem like a really exciting meeting to come to, so that the people are showing up and they are being engaged and they feel like they're getting value and enjoying it. And then from there, they'll stick around. And I think that we're doing a pretty good job of that right now. We already have 16 of 21 renewed, because we tried to get everybody in who could get renewed before the increase in dues kicked in on July 31st. And yeah, just having that continuous contact and not letting somebody that's missed a couple meetings feel like they've been forgotten about either. You know, to reach out and say, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, we've missed you. And to have that contact happen before we get to the point of it's September and we're saying, hey, you haven't paid your renewal dues, you want to stick around? That's not the best way to retain members. But it's all about engagement and fun environment. Yeah.
Continuous engagement.
Continuous engagement. Yeah.
Thank you. We still have a minute and a half. Anybody else want to add to that, Paulina?
One engagement tactic I utilized when I was VP of membership a while back was maintaining the guest list and inviting everyone to our virtual meeting. Some people asked to be withdrawn, and I respected their decision, withdrew them from the list. But for those who remained, I made sure to send out all sorts of invites to make sure they knew our meeting was coming up and they could participate. We actually had a couple of interesting circumstances where on at least one occasion, someone under the age of 18 wanted to come to our club, but we had to inform them that our club is for adults only, and we had to refer them and their parents to the youth program. So I'm proud we got that reach in an interesting way. But now as VP of PR, we have our website, but we also advertise in local papers in Norwood, the Norwood Record, and local town papers in the surrounding area. We also have done an open house every fall. We've done some spring ones too over the years, where we plaster messages in community spaces where people can see the bulletins, and then they visit our club. Sometimes we get returning members too to visit our open house, and sometimes that reinvigorates interest. Sometimes they just want to visit. So it still keeps them connected to us somehow. And when they're there, we try to make them feel welcome. And especially if an experienced member comes back, I'll give you an example. One member who hasn't been with us for a while, because we knew he was so good being the counter, we encouraged him to retake that post, and he did a phenomenal job, like he never left us. And since then, even though we used to have social media pages, we don't anymore, but it seems that the Find a Club information we have on Toastmasters.org has gotten a lot of traction. When people local to the area are looking for a club they might want to join, they come to us, and then some of them come back multiple times. Some of them, they find other clubs, but we help them find their Toastmasters journey that way.
Thank you, Paulina. The next question I had set up for Trevor to answer, membership recruiting, but I think we kind of answered a lot of that in the previous question. But if you have anything you want to add to that, Trevor, be my guest.
Sure, and I'll just state for the audience, membership recruiting in particular, a few aspects of that. What are you doing to market for members? I think Paulina, as Tom said, mentioned that a bit in what just gave us. Connecting with prospective members and inviting them to meetings, and then eventually converting them to members. Anything in particular that you can comment on, Trevor, on those aspects of membership recruiting?
Yeah, I think that the reason I'm getting this question is I was the VP of membership a number of times in the past. And it was one of my favorite officer roles is that bringing in the new people and encouraging them. Like Paulina said, our methods of marketing, we don't have social media or anything like that, but we have stuff in newspapers occasionally. We used to get a lot of traction with putting up posters in train stations, but that's less of an avenue because the train stations aren't as crowded as they used to be, and interior spaces for message boards are closed up. But I think our number one attraction is just people local to the area searching for a Toastmasters in Norwood. And we're the one offering for that. And we are a great offering. And I think that just taking advantage of the natural people looking for being a part of Toastmasters and learning public speaking and getting back to them when they reach out is the key avenue. I think just timely responses to people, inviting them, continuing to invite them if they don't make the first couple times, because often people get that itch to reach out and then it just won't work out in timing. But then 6 months later, they'll actually show up and join the club. And we have a couple of members who exactly that thing happened, where the first time they reached out was 6 months, 9 months before they actually were able to come. And but they did come and they did join, and it was worth continuing to involve them because they had reached out. So keep inviting people who reach out. That's the best way to market. Just be a responsive club.
I think you answered the next question, Trevor, but I'll have Christian answer it anyways. And I also have a comment to add. So please, Christian.
Okay, thanks, Tom. The next question is, what does the club do to welcome guests and follow up with them? Tom said that was touched upon, but not in detail. So we want to learn more about that. Is there any system that you put in place? And can you tell us in detail what that system is?
Well, first thing I want to comment is I've been with the club for a long time. And one of the things that really impresses me about this edition of Norwood Toastmasters is the amount of guests that we've been turning into members. We're doing something different, and it just seems like someone that attends a member as a guest, they may do it online, and then they stop by in person to see what if it's real, right? And then all of a sudden, just sign an application form. It was like a wand. Somebody waved a wand over them and made them. I mean, it must be what we're doing at the meeting that makes people want to join us. We're having fun. We respect each other. We're dedicated to each other's success. And I think the people see that. And that was really what attracts them to Norwood Toastmasters. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Paulina.
Thank you, Tom. I would say one thing we're doing differently in the past couple of years is those welcome packets, because before we would have a guest that come to our meeting and then we would say, hey, if you want to join, come talk to our VP of membership and they'll help you join. Especially myself as VP of membership, I did not want to do the hard sell approach or beg or plead for them to join us. If they join us, great. If not, I totally respect their choice. But when I became Sergeant at Arms, I looked at the inventory of our supplies and saw we had all these brochures and manuals and other material we could use to promote our club. And because I was area director, I saw other clubs had welcome packets or welcome committees. So I decided to put two and two together by using some folders, adding all the brochures and application, as well as some other odds and ends to make a welcome packet. So when a member comes in, I give them something tangible to remember their visit to our club by. And if they like their experience, they have an application right in front of them that they could fill out and work with our treasurer and VP of membership to join the club. And I like to think that has had a positive impact as we've been able to pick up a lot of people over the past couple of years in joining our club.
Thank you, Paulina. I had Paulina up for the last question because she really attacks this procedure. And would you ask her that question, Christian? Because I know she's going to be really thrilled to answer it.
Sure, let's go in for the attack here, Paulina. This is about meeting planning. What are your best practices for filling meeting roles ahead of the meeting time, and that does need an attention. Let's hear what you guys are doing.
Oh, yes. Planning is in my blood as a sergeant at arms and with many other roles I've had previously. But to any clubs, I would advise if your club has some time and your meeting space doesn't have an urgent close time, use that extra time to fill roles at the end of your meeting or near the end of your meeting. Sometimes you might get the filling of the helper roles like God Counter, Word Master, or / grammarian or timer. Sometimes you get volunteers to give speeches, and sometimes you get volunteers to be Toastmasters. One thing our previous VP membership from years ago did was he would send out a survey and ask people when their availability was, and he would schedule them right then and there. We haven't done that in a while because of either no appetite among members or bandwidth of our other duties in Toastmasters. We don't do that. But we do send emails as we approach another meeting to remind people of here's what the agenda looks like for the upcoming meeting. We encourage you to sign up for a role. And since we know how to manipulate free Toast hosts, you can sign up in the email itself rather than providing a bulleted list of, okay, we need an odd counter. But then if someone wants to do it, but you'll bring them to the sign up of the agenda, they're not going to sign up. It'll just go out of sight, out of mind before you know it. And you lost out an opportunity to engage them. And then as Sergeant at Arms, especially during the summer, I had to plan in the spring where we would meet and look up which venues were available. And we concentrate on libraries. I knew that Canton was very flexible, but it costs money, so we have to budget for that. And for Westwood, one of our officers is a Westwood resident, so she was able to allow us to use the meeting space. And in Norwood, we were in Norwood, so we could use the room, but they had meetings that conflicted with our meeting time, so we had to find workarounds. But we were able to pull it together and have a successful string of summer meetings so that when September rolls around, we'll be able to go back to the Norwood Civic Center and resume our usual meetings there. So be prepared and have a backup plan in case something goes awry, whether it's a Zoom or an alternate meeting location. Have plenty of supplies. I believe Tom does a diligent job making our agenda, so there's no last minute printing, and sometimes it's a lesson learned. If you have a virtual presentation, send it to me or some other officers, and we can put it on our computer and project it into Zoom and on the big screen or monitor for other people to see, or hook up your machine if it has an HDMI input. So make sure you have the right technology. I also, in my job, I have a selfie stick, so I use that to mount my phone to point at the speaker, whereas my laptop cam is pointed at the audience so the virtual attendees can see what's going on. It's just a matter of being maybe a bit over prepared, but I like to plan for eventualities and come through in the clinch. Thank you.
As they say, you can't predict, but you can prepare.
Yeah.
Well,
Tom, do we have time for a quick elaboration?
Well, sure, we've got about 10 minutes left. I didn't know there was an end time, but we're at 10 minutes of 8, so we have a few minutes.
All right, I
sum
just
up.
have to ask
Go ahead.
two aspects, Paulina. With hybrid meetings, is that built-in infrastructure, or is the club bringing equipment in to run the hybrid meetings? That's my first question.
good question. We do pay for a Zoom license to have virtual meeting space, and we budget for that when we do our club budgeting. And as for odds and ends, we've used boxes that come with the supplies we used before. One of our previous officers has lent us, we haven't returned it, although I should ask him if he still wants us to hold on to it, a Bluetooth speaker when we usually meet in the Norwood Civic Center, because our room doesn't have a monitor. We had to use the Bluetooth speaker to connect to my laptop. It's my personal laptop, not my work laptop, to allow people from the virtual world to hear us, and we can talk to the virtual world. And then I use my phone and a selfie stick and mount it so that the person at the lectern can be seen with by the virtual crowd. They can look into the virtual audience in addition to the people in the room. And my laptop's webcam will be pointed at the room so that people can see what's going on in the meeting room, even though they're not there physically. Leading up to this, I did watch some how-to videos from Toastmasters clubs around the world, how to provide for virtual meetings. For those who are in corporate clubs, I feel that they have a great advantage because they usually working in place with IT support or up to the minute equipment for web calls. They can do fantastic virtual meetings, whereas community clubs, you have to budget for that. Either rely on donations from members. Tom generously donated his tripod a couple times, I think Trevor as well, or have myself, who has all this equipment because of my role in my professional life, and I'm able to let the club borrow it for the meetings.
It's also handy to have a meeting space that has a projection
Oh,
screen.
yes. The best,
That's very important.
yeah, the best steps, if you have a projector, or like we were in Westwood yesterday, there's a big monitor in one of the rooms in the Norwood Civic Center has this too. You can just hook up an HDMI cable to your laptop and you'll be able to see what goes on in the Zoom meeting and the virtual attendees in crystal clear resolution.
Trevor, you had something you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to go back too on the meeting planning. So Paulina had mentioned something about the emails that are sent out. And I wanted to reiterate how useful it is to not just send out an email saying, sign up for a role. Because almost nobody takes the next step of going to your club website and logging in and looking at finding the agenda and signing up for a role. It really is so useful if your club uses free Toast Host to be able to send that agenda. You can go directly to your agenda, hit email agenda, and send that directly to people, and it gives them the list of open, the full agenda in an email. They can see where all the opens on, click the sign up button in the email, and they just have to log in real quick, and it puts them within the role. And one thing that we've discovered, or I've discovered, because I'm always learning new stuff about free Toast Host, is you can also target those emails. So I can put in a little customized field. It'll say like first name, so it'll auto generate the first name of the person it's sending to. Type a little message above the agenda, say, hey, this is the stuff we're looking for, or come to the meeting, and then have it sent only to the people who haven't signed up for a role already, instead of blanketing everybody with the same email. And I find that's been pretty effective since we've started doing it, because I think seeing your name customized in there is just another little cherry on top. It feels like, ooh, this is directly to me to sign up for a role, not just blanket email to the club. So take advantage of all these little tools you can use in the club website to improve your sign up process and make it more personal.
And I'll just add, I'll put in the show notes, if you have not used free Toast Host before, a lot of clubs use it. As Trevor indicated, it's a very useful tool that's free for you to use. Free Toast Host for your Toastmaster club. So check it out in the link in the show notes. Over to you, Tom.
What's that?
Over to you.
Oh, okay. My concluding thoughts would be, and I think it's been said different ways, but you've got to have fun at every meeting. That's what recruits people and retains people. And you have to find ways to have fun. Like, for instance, I have to mention this. Last night, a Table Topics master had a last minute emergency and she couldn't come. So we're trying to think of what we're going to do about table topics. And I thought about the never ending story. Somebody gets up there and starts a story, and then the next person continues that story, and it can go any direction. And it was kind of fun for the first time we did it. And that's the type of thing you have to be, find ways to have fun when there isn't any ways immediately right there before you. And that's my concluding thought.
Thank you, Tom. Did anyone else have any other concluding thoughts before we conclude the interview?
Yep. I would like to say, for clubs who may have issues setting up virtual meetings, I encourage you to look at Toastmasters clubs who have made YouTube videos, or just look on YouTube, Toastmasters for hybrid meeting, and there's some good videos there. And when you budget, you might decide to get a Zoom license or other virtual meeting platform of your choice. And there's some affordable equipment out there if you need it for selfie sticks or tripods or whatever you need to make your hybrid meeting viable. I would also encourage clubs to buy their own supplies so they're not dependent on one person as a single point of failure. And if you're using a library or other public space that requires someone being a community member, make sure they are a community member or in the library network to borrow supplies so that you're not caught flat-footed.
Really important, Pauline, to have that backup plan, especially when it comes to IT, but even a backup plan for officer roles as well. If somebody can't make the meeting, have that backup plan in place so you can run your meeting smoothly.
Mhm.
Would anyone like to share with us how a guest can come to Norwood Toastmasters Club?
Sure.
Trevor,
The best way for a guest to find us would be to visit our club website, norwoodtoastmaster.toastmastersclubs.org. There's no S after Toastmaster in Norwood Toastmaster, but there is one in Toastmasters Clubs. And if you go to that website, you'll have a contact us section, and that'll get you directly to the relevant officers, whether it's us this year or the next great set of officers we have in the following year, and they will be able to get you the physical meeting location, Zoom link, date, time, all that relevant information so that you're able to visit. So just check our website and give us a ring.
Thank you, Trevor. And we will post the website at the end of this video and also in the show notes. So you can just click through. You don't have to worry about that there's an S or a not, but remember, there's no S in that name to find out more about Norwood Toastmasters Club. In conclusion, if you want to go to a hybrid meeting, you want to move at your own pace, a club that recognizes you for your achievements, you will not be forgotten if you go to the Norwood Toastmaster Club meeting. They'll give you members for new members. They'll give you a mentor. Join a fun, engaging, and respectful meeting. You might be involved in that never-ending table topics as they wave that magic wand over to you to make you a new Norwood Toastmasters member. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. Thank you, Norwood Toastmaster officers. I enjoyed speaking with you tonight, and I hope you have a fantastic Toastmaster year ahead.
Thank you.